In this episode of Idle Gossip, on-screen love, faking it for the cameras. Who's inside the Hollywood closet? Special delivery for Posh and Becks. There's always one in every bunch, sometimes two, but rarely as many caught on camera as we have today. They thought they'd get away from us, but we have fashion agents everywhere and they don't miss a thing. Especially something as controversial as the day I did my own hair.
I'm on full-time mom.
Deborah Messing obviously has been with the hairdryer and round brush. Busy with a new baby, she's done her do herself. She's obviously a little out of practice, and only too late does she realise what she's done.
It's shocking. It's shocking. I haven't done all of this in a really long time.
Christine Taylor trying hard to distract the watcher's eye by displaying to the cameras like a nervous peacock. But cute dresses can't cover for tragic tresses. Yes, the pleated skirt is sweet, dear, but how long did you spend on your hair?
I don't know. I think you do what works best for you. And for me, I was really lucky that I could take a year and a half.
It probably took Jack Black about 7 hours on someone's couch to create this look, seemingly inspired by an unwashed hobbit from The Lord of the Rings. We hope it doesn't catch on. And you, Christina Applegate, that is a hair don't. She looks atrocious. Why, Christina, why?
It's difficult.
Mina Suvari looking like she just got out of a tumble dryer. Any more matted and she'd be heading for dreadlocks. And the night wouldn't be complete without Gwyneth and her bad hair week coming to the fray. But in the UK, bad hair days are unheard of because it's the last place on earth where women still wear hats. Yes, there's always a reason for a hat, not just to cover up bad hair and not just a fashion accessory. A hat can make an outfit. This works both ways, and it can also make a right mess of one too. Some people wear hats just for the sake of looking silly, and some spend a lot of money to look smart, but still end up looking silly. And what charming taste in millinery they have, I must say. Most of the time. One source of this hat-mad craze, a favourite among ladies of society, creates for the individual, mixing flair and personality to give each client a special surprise. And as one of her few pleasures in life, Mrs. June Wildhorn of 134 Bruce Crescent, Ilford, obviously knows buying a hat is nicer than the nicest cup of tea she's ever had.
Lovely, isn't it?
It is nice.
When is the
The wedding is on the 15th, then I hope you see that I can cheat and wear it for Ascot the following week.
It's quite an industry in the UK, with specialty milliners challenging one another constantly. Millinery has reached new design realms with the smallest hats, the world's most frou-frou hats, and hats so completely pointless they defy explanation. Whereas another milliner's creations are often able to be interpreted by the wearer and are possibly designed for either sex. Nevertheless, a bad hair day is unknown in the UK thanks to the hard-working milliners, society moms and English ladies who keep them in business.
Oh, I like it. I like, darling.
The pressure the stars are under must be enormous. Every minute of their lives is captured by paparazzi, screaming their names and stalking them continually. It's no wonder that some of them reach meltdown.
I'm sorry.
Brittany Murphy recently caused eyebrows to raise and her minders to wonder when she lay down in the middle of a press conference and put a napkin over her head. She said that it was because she was tired of people looking at her.
Why don't you just forget about them and do something for yourself?
On yet another occasion, a TV crew had to abandon an interview because she kept singing. Her PR people tried to explain the bizarre incidents by saying that it was because she was a naturally warm person. Right, okay then. Kate Winslet's not a complete Fruit Loop, but the English Rose broke down in tears on TV recently because hubby Sam Mendes is really wonderful, and this is an amazingly emotional time, and I see him being a wonderful father. She blamed hormones. We say too much time spent in Tinseltown. When super tartlet Britney Spears broke up with longtime boyfriend Justin Timberlake, she took it very badly. The strain became apparent when she broke down in tears on a TV show. In 2003, she stunned fans by getting hitched to a childhood friend on a wild night out in Las Vegas. The marriage lasted 55 hours. After the annulment, Britney gave her ex-hubby a Porsche. Nice work if you can get it. Jerry Halliwell is a great source of peculiar behaviour. At one point, she was reported to be rummaging through dustbins in Hollywood. Looking for what? We don't know. Her career, perhaps?
I think I've got amazing fans that have stood by me no matter what.
Ex-boyfriend Robbie Williams said of her, she turned into a demonic little girl playing with dolls and a tea set. She started speaking like a psychotic child and developed this possessed look. It was genuinely scaring me. It was around that time I realised our friendship wasn't what I thought it was. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only
70s diva Diana Ross threw a fit before the Billboard Music Awards in Las Vegas. All the A-list stars from A to Z were given trailers as dressing rooms in the lot behind the MGM Grand. When Diana saw hers, she started screaming, "Ms. Ross will not be in a trailer." Sources say it was hilarious that she kept referring to herself in the third person. Finally, the staff created a dressing room inside, just for Ms. Ross.
The arms are going to be used to guide. No, you do it. Guide.
Being out is now in, at least for the moment. In the gay-themed show Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, 5 gay guys meet a straight guy and revamp him from top to toe, including his clothing, his house, even his personal hygiene routines.
Oh look, a hole. It's a glory hole. Right? That's Laurel.
Yes, exactly.
Who's Laurel? Is Laurel your girlfriend? She's just...
This show became so popular, they were even invited to revamp Jay Leno for The Tonight Show in the US. This is something that would never have happened 5 years ago. Attitudes, it seems, for the time being anyway, have changed.
The more I tried to ignore it, the more powerful it became.
At one time, coming out in Hollywood was equivalent to career suicide.
Hoover is still annoyed that you won't help him find homosexuals in the State Department.
It's advisable to stick to what's normal. You don't want to shake people up.
Of course not.
Even now, if you are openly gay, it may have a detrimental effect on you scoring the lead role in a movie. Maybe this too will change if the recent trend continues. Freddie Mercury, the lead singer of the band Queen, never publicly admitted to being one, though many questioned his extremely gay-influenced image from the 80s. Prancing around the stage like a rampantly oversexed tomcat, he thrilled male and female fans alike. Freddie admitted to bisexuality, yet quoted he would never ever fall in love with a man the way he could fall in love with a woman. With gay entertainers earning more and more recognition, more stars are willing to come out. Rosie O'Donnell, Rupert Everett and Elton John have all come out and announced that they are gay. Melissa Etheridge and girlfriend Tammy Lynn Michaels exchanged vows in a Malibu ceremony. They have a baby, but the couple refuses to say who the biological father is. Rumours are it could be heartthrob Brad Pitt, but everyone involved denies it's true. Ellen DeGeneres didn't have such a happy time of it at first. Television audiences were shocked when, in the course of her sitcom Ellen, she announced quite openly that she was a lesbian. Although she never regretted her bold decision to reveal her sexuality, within a year, her show was cancelled. The actress also received bomb threats and death threats. The tables have finally turned, and audiences are starting to see past her sexual preferences to take notice of the funny comedian herself. She has pulled off what has become called one of the greatest show business comebacks of all time.
Oh, crap. I gotta get out of here.
The ever-popular Will and Grace marked the premiere of one of the first primetime shows to put a positive light on homosexuality. The show has paved the way for such other gay storylines, such as Queer as Folk and the lesbian drama The L Word. There are also now reality game shows featuring gay men with Playing It Straight and Boy Meets Boy, where an openly gay man has to date the contestants and guess who is really a straight guy. If he guesses right, he wins $10,000. If he guesses wrong, the gay playing straight guy heads off with the 10 big ones himself. These shows are Hollywood's way of saying it's okay to be gay. But like with fashion, what's in today might be out tomorrow. So if you are in the closet, now's the time to come out and ride the wave while it's there. Julia Roberts, the pretty woman who once received $300,000 for that role, is now the pretty mama who, cha-ching, received $25 million for Mona Lisa's smile. No wonder she's smiling.
Let's talk about something really important.
And she has remained at the top of the list of Hollywood's top-earning actresses, with enough star power to demand $10.3 million per picture.
I'll cook. You talk.
I'm sorry, did I photograph you? Did we meet somewhere?
Come on, don't play games, you nymph of the net.
Excuse me?
You were out for it yesterday.
Was I?
Yeah. Why do I feel like a pervert?
I think you're the victim of a practical joke.
Second place getter Cameron Diaz comes in with $10.3 per film as well. Diaz started off relatively small for There's Something About Mary. She was paid $2 million. She will return to the big screen with In Her Shoes. Nicole Kidman ranks third in the list, commanding $8 million per picture. Ex-Mrs. Cruz can happily do whatever she pleases, including now wear the highest heels she likes.
I'm sorry.
Elle Woods, welcome.
Reese Witherspoon is listed fourth. For her role in Cruel Intentions, she was paid $250,000. Marriage to Ryan Philippe and motherhood came next, and in just a few short years, she won the role of Elle Woods, the not-so-dumb blonde in Legally Blonde, and went home counting her cash to the tune of $7.5 million. Hollywood survivor Drew Barrymore is fifth, earning around $7.4 million for her pictures. She has branched off into film production and is playing the big game in Tinseltown, producing the Charlie's Angels films and the cult hit Donnie Darko.
I don't recall him ever having mentioned a rabbit.
Donnie is experiencing what is commonly called a daylight hallucination.
Halle Berry had a number of minor roles and was no stranger to acting when she leapt to prominence in Executive Decision, for which she received $1 million. Just a few short years later, the Best Actress winner's $7.2 million fee for Catwoman brought her to sixth place. Sandra Bullock takes seventh place. When she played the gutsy bus driver alongside Keanu Reeves in Speed, she only received $500,000. Yet a few years later, Sandra Bullock was demanding up to $7 million for Murder by Numbers. $6 to $7 million will secure you the acting services of Angelina Jolie. The actress comes with versatility, universal appeal and has numerous humanitarian projects to add to her resume. Coming in at 9th place and bumping Jennifer Lopez down a notch is Renee Zellweger. Ever happy and growing in popularity, Renee is sure to be one to watch. J-Lo has suffered a year of flop films and her standing on the list has faltered. Still not as exorbitant as actors' fees, the women at the top in Hollywood prove that we like them doing what they do and their salaries leave them in control.
As long as she wants you back.
Willem Dafoe revealed one of his strange relaxation techniques. He says that there are few things he enjoys as much as washing dishes, that it's the simplicity of the chore. When I go to a big dinner party, the first thing I do is try to sneak off to the kitchen and see if I can take over as the dishwasher. Sometimes I wash dishes for 2 hours. Thanks for the info, Willem. While steamy bedroom scenes may sell movie tickets and DVDs, for the actors, filming them is anything but dreamy. Stars of HBO's 6 Feet Under reveal there is really nothing romantic about filming a love scene. You get directions like, for this take, put your hand here, while you move like this, and turn this way and stroke a hair a bit. Other actors agree. The kiss shared by Frankie Muniz and Hilary Duff in Agent Cody Banks was a little uncomfortable to shoot, admits Hilary. I've known Frankie for 4 years and he's really cool, but we had to shoot it about 1 million times. Our director wanted the sky a certain way, so we waited and waited for like an hour or 2 for the sky to be right. We were like, please, let's do it. Anything but romantic. It loses its appeal after about the first 5 minutes.
So, like, straight.
T.S. Eliot is a man.
Being seduced by Jennifer Aniston sounds like a fantasy for any guy. But for Jake Gyllenhaal, making the love scenes in The Good Girl were awkward because of all the technical details involved. Then, too, there was the knowledge that Jennifer's husband at the time in real life, Brad Pitt, was on the set and watching. Pitt joked with Jake good-naturedly, trying to help take the edge off. Not to worry, he said, we can share. Madonna's movie Swept Away was fairly forgettable, but things were edgy for actor Adriano Giannini as he rolled around on a beach kissing and getting amorous with Madge. Her director husband, Guy Ritchie, stood close by with a very sharp stick. The whole crew was waiting for Guy's head to explode off his body, she told the New York Times. We were all intimidated. We were all terrified. The whole thing was weird.
Oh, forgive me for being in a rush to get this.
Guy's direction did nothing to help the actors, and it did nothing to save the film, which was a box office bomb. As if coping with potentially jealous mates and hitting one's marks weren't enough to spoil the fun of doing love scenes, there are other complications, like one's co-star, such as the charming leading man who chewed raw garlic prior to an on-screen kiss. Not mentioning names, but let's just say that Britney Spears was too much of a professional to let it spoil her performance. Then there is the real charmer who, off-camera, takes delight in such antics as passing gas into his coat and then wafting it over your face. That's what Kate Winslet had to cope with while shooting Titanic with Leonardo DiCaprio. How disgusting. Imagine having to be on screen pretending that this man is your heart's desire. Now that's acting.
That's a very interesting point of view.
Oh, do you feel the breeze from the subway? Isn't it delicious?
Poor old Marilyn. They won't let her rest. Each year her estate earns over $2 million in royalties from product licenses, and now someone has decided to let a whole collection of memorabilia go to auction, which of course sends the hardcore fans into a feeding frenzy. There is the original design sketch for the dress by costumier Billy Travilla, who obviously loved the idea of Marilyn in flowing chiffon and depicted her as the goddess she was. If you place your bid on eBay, of course, you could be lucky enough to score your own replica of the dress Marilyn wore in 7 Year Itch. Marilyn was such a fan of his, she gave him an autographed copy of her nude calendar shot taken by photographer Tom Kelly. And there's also a collection of photos, some studio shots and some more intimate and personal, that any Marilyn collector would just die for. Or an uncashed signed cheque from Norma Jean herself. Amusingly, the selection of gear available extends to other costume collectibles that obviously need a decent high-interest piece to stand alongside just to get people to notice. Like a stage outfit worn by Britney Spears, an ape costume from the original Planet of the Apes. I'd love an HR Puffnstuff suit, and these attractive bald troll dolls. So if you miss out on a Marilyn Monroe rarity, you could end up with some other piece of trivial overpriced junk cluttering up your spare room instead. And now in news just to hand, Posh and Bex were happy to announce the birth of their third child, Yukon Zebedee Beckham. The family were happy to announce his safe but untimely birth. The dramatic birth unfolded as Bex was racing his pretty wife to the hospital. Yukon clearly would not wait, and Posh delivered him beside the road, parked next to a horse knackery. Kylie Minogue flew in to wish them all the best. She was all aflutter hearing news of Posh's ultra-fast delivery and arrived with a large basket of beauty products featuring anti-cellulite creams and stretch mark fading lotions for the busy mum. Chosen as godfathers were Tony Blair, His Royal Highness Prince Philip and US President Bush. On hand with advice for the couple was Samuel L. Jackson, Hugh Grant and comedian Edward Norton, who presented traditional gifts to baby Yukon of frankincense, gold jewellery and a Mercedes. Posh was heard to say the only thing baby Yukon didn't have was a dummy.